3, 2, 1, go!
Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to an anime review. Today, we're looking at Attack on Titan, Season 3, Episode 3. Now, before I talk about that really fast though, I hope you guys like the new intro. I think it's incredible. It was done by my good friend, Professor Anime. I will leave a link to his channel in the description box below. I am in love with this intro. I think it's amazing. I also have another intro made by someone that I will have occasionally swap out with. Probably my next review of Attack on Titan, I'll have that intro. And then we'll see. You know, I'll probably switch it up every so often just because I have two intros now. I might even have a third that's being made because I didn't expect that when I asked for an intro, I would have such an outcry of people wanting to make an intro for me. And so far, out of the people that have made one for me, which I have two, like I said, I love both of them equally, so it's like they're both awesome in their own rights, and I'm like, which one do I use? I don't know which one to use, but what I'll do is I'll swap them out once in a blue moon. You know, usually I'll do it like maybe seasonally. I'll switch them out once in a blue moon like that. But yeah, you'll see different intros, and it's also going to be part of my anime, like my new, I want to say YouTube intro video I'm going to make probably coming up in the next couple of weeks that I want to do, because it's been a while since I've done one, and I think it's kind of needed, where I need to kind of rebrand myself a little bit, because I'm not doing episodic reviews all the time, you know? But I do still do them once in a blue moon, and today is one of those, because Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 3 is an episode I want to talk about. I really want to talk about this episode. So, this whole week's episode, we have some very interesting revelations from Commander Erwin, excuse me, I said Aaron. Erwin, who, you know, reveals about his past a little bit in the mid part of the episode, where his father was a teacher, and what his father would do is he taught these kids that a lot of the history books were kind of lost during the escape from the Titans, and you know, when they went inside the walls, they lost a lot of the history books, and all this stuff disappeared. But the reality, and you know, Erwin says it, is that when he was younger, he asked questions, and he wondered, that seems kind of strange. You know, how is it that all these history books, how is it everything was lost? And you know, Erwin's father told him that the theory was that the government was actually trying to manipulate children and manipulate people in general to believe this, you know, facade that, oh yeah, the history books are gone, we don't have them anymore, when realistically they have all the history books, they have them still, and they're keeping them from people because they want to make it so life is more contained and more focused in the walls, where people aren't seeking things outside the walls for anything else. They want this new life, which is understandable. I mean, you know, it might seem like a distraught thing to have knowledge in this case, like, oh, you know, you're hiding knowledge from people. But the same token, think about it for a second, folks. If people knew what was outside the walls, if people understood this history that is not really full seen yet in the series, and I do have it spoiled, so I already know what's the history about it, but it's kind of obvious. I hate to say it, it's one of those obvious things that when you really think about it, it's like, oh, okay, makes sense. But you know, if people knew what was going on outside the walls, if people understood the concepts of what we lost and what was originally something we had, you know, people would strive to get it. And the problem with that is that Titans are so overpowered against normal folk that you would have mass murder. So in many ways, yeah, the government is hiding precious information, precious knowledge from people. But at the same token, you know, it's understandable to some degree that they have to in this case. You know, is it the right way of doing things? No. But at the same time, it's understandable. Now, it's definitely going to be a debate. You know, people will always side with one of these things, where there'll be people that say you're completely wrong. And I understand that, because it's like, for me, I'm almost in the middle ground, because I'm also someone who seeks knowledge. I love knowledge. I love history. I love understanding what led us here as a human race to where we are now. And people forget about that, because you see what happens when people do forget about it. They make mistakes. They let the past redefine them, and they make the same mistakes from their past that they could have learned if they had known the past. But in this case, where we have these giant monstrous creatures roaming the earth, you know, killing people in droves with no stop in sight, and only select people able to fight them, you're almost like, well, so okay, so if you arm people with knowledge and tell them, you know, oh, this is outside or this is outside, is that the correct way of doing it? You're sending people to like mass slaughter, essentially, right? So it's definitely a middle gray zone with this. You know, it's like one of those things like, which side is right, which side is wrong. You know, Erwin wants to change the course of history, because we now know that Historia is the rightful, queen technically. She's the one that's technically the royal blood, and Rice is the one that's actually been hiding his legacy, to only now be realized that he's the true king. The king that is currently up on the throne is fake. And so it's this thing where Erwin wants to change the seat of power. He wants to change the whole government. And he wants to do it without bloodshed, which I give him credit for. But the government doesn't seem to want to do that in this case. They're already starting to killing people. We saw that they killed, I forget the dude's name already, shit. It's the landowner. I think it was Reese. It's Reese is the landowner who we saw in the very beginning of the series try to like block the way because he wanted to bring all this stuff in. But as Erwin tells his wife, it's not that he was a bad person. He actually tried to help people when, push came to shove, and when starvation started happening to everyone in the land, he started caring about people. He started making where it's like, okay, I'll help out people. I'll give them jobs. I'll give them food and resources. So he's not a terrible person. Him dying is kind of jacked up, but it did unfortunately happen. It shows that, the government want to make it where the scouts now are targets, and the scouts now are definitely targets because they're being apprehended. And the ones that are fleeing, like Erwin, Hagnay, and Levi, the rest of the group, they're all targets. They're all going to be killed if not careful. So it's this incredible feat where Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 3 shows that, again, humanity is the bigger threat than just Titans. And it's so interesting to me because you almost wonder, like, how can this show still be so amazing when the main crux of what made it incredible in the first place was these giant titans with these creepy faces being, the main enemy, and now putting as humans being the main enemy. It's really very interesting. That's why I'm loving Season 3 right now. I know people are definitely on the mixed bag with a lot of things and stuff like that, but I'm loving the show. I think it's really incredible. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far of the season. And I mean, I know we're only 3 episodes in, but I love the humane concepts of it and the kind of past we're getting. And I know the revelation of what is in the basement, I think, is occurring probably this season. I could be wrong. Manga readers, let me know if I'm wrong or not with that. I believe it should be coming up soon, though. But I am stoked for that revelation because I know it. Like I said, I know that already. I read most of the manga for the first, I want to say, parts. And then I got spoiled for a lot of the sections that we're at currently. Not everything, mind you, not everything. I didn't get so with Kenny's appearance and with the Erwin and his past, all that. I had no idea about that. But what's in the basement, humanity's past, the concept of the Titans being, as we found out today, if people eat the Titans, they get the powers of them. That stuff I already had known because I got spoiled for me, unfortunately. But I've been good because I've always wanted to tell people about that stuff because I'm like, it's really cool. It's a very interesting concept to the show, but I'm like, oh, I can't tell you because I don't want people spoiled like I was, So it's definitely been interesting. But let me know in the comments below what you thought about the episode first and foremost. Also, let me know, manga readers, that how's things going? Are we still adapting well from the series? Are we kind of deviating? What's going on here? Because I think right now the story is working perfectly. I mean, the flow of it, the ebb and flow of everything is on point. But anyways, like I said, I hope you guys like the new intro. Again, check out Professor Anime's channel in the link below in the description box. I'll have it in. I don't know why I worded it that way. It's late at night probably. That's probably why I'm tired. But I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed night, everyone. God bless you all. Love everyone.